Hi, I'm Andrew Bosserman, tax attorney and founder of Boss Tax Law, and today we're going to cover what might be the most critical factor in determining the outcome of your IRS audit or dispute. So many taxpayers and even some tax professionals believe that tax controversy is all about the law and the numbers. But after handling many cases, both working as an IRS agent and then working as a CPA and now a tax attorney, I've discovered something surprising. How you handle your IRS interactions often matters more than the underlying tax issues themselves. Abraham Lincoln once said that a drop of honey catches more flies than a gallon of vinegar. Nowhere is this more true than when dealing with the IRS. So, before we dive in, let me talk about something I hear from clients every day. Oftentimes they say, the IRS is out to get me. While that feeling is completely understandable, this adversarial mindset can actually be the biggest obstacle between you and a favorable resolution. In my 15 years of handling tax controversies, I've seen this pattern repeat itself countless times. The taxpayers who approach audits with confrontation almost always end up with worse outcomes than those who adopt more of a strategic and cooperative approach. Today, I want to illustrate this through a tale of two taxpayers facing an identical audit situation. So let's meet Michael and David. They both run manufacturing companies with similar revenues in the same city. Both claim similar deductions, and by coincidence, both were selected for examination by the same IRS agent in the same month. On paper, these cases should resolve similarly, but as we'll see, their approaches led to dramatically different outcomes. So let's observe how their initial meetings with the IRS unfolded. Michael arrived at his meeting already defensive. Before the agent could even explain the process, he launched into complaints about government overreach and accused the IRS of targeting small businesses while letting large corporations get away with murder. He placed a recording device on the table without asking permission and announced something like, "My lawyer told me not to answer any unnecessary questions." When asked for his mileage log to substantiate legitimate business expenses, Michael scoffed, "I'm far too busy running a legitimate business and then employing people and helping the economy to play bureaucratic games." His documentation was disorganized and he treated every question as an accusation rather than standard procedure. In contrast, David arrived with neatly organized records and a respectful attitude. His opening words set the tone for the entire meeting. "I understand you're just doing your job, and I want to make this process efficient for both of us." When the agent found discrepancies in his meal expenses, David didn't become defensive. Instead, he nodded thoughtfully and said, "My bookkeeper raised the same concern. Let me walk you through our client meeting system and documentation so you can see what happened." David wasn't a pushover. He still advocated for his positions, but he did so with evidence and respect rather than hostility. As these audits progressed, the revenues agent's approach to each case evolved differently. With Michael, the agent scrutinized every deduction with increasing rigor, and the agent brought out his magnifying glass, and Michael's hostility made the agent wonder what he might be hiding, leading to an expanded scope. Minor discrepancies that may have been overlooked became meticulously documented problems for the IRS agent's case file. With David, the agent focused on substantive issues rather than minor technical violations. When David couldn't locate our particular receipt, the agent was more inclined to accept alternative documentation because David had established credibility through cooperation. The results: Michael's audit ended with thousands of dollars in disallowed deductions plus a 20% accuracy-related penalty. David's audit, despite starting with similar red flags, resulted in minimal adjustments and no penalties as the agent determined his errors were honest mistakes made in good faith. So, this hypothetical situation I just gave you, it isn't about playing favorites or sucking up to the IRS. It's about human psychology and how we respond to others. Let me be absolutely clear about something that many tax professionals won't tell you. How you interact with the IRS is often more important than the underlying tax law or the technical merits of your case. You can have the strongest legal position in the world, but if you create an adversarial relationship, the agent will scrutinize every detail and interpret gray areas against you. Conversely, Even in cases with legitimate problems, a cooperative approach often leads to more favorable interpretations and outcomes. Revenue agents and other IRS employees are professionals doing their job, but they're also human beings who respond to how they're treated. When you approach them with hostility, they naturally become more rigid and less flexible in their interpretations. Remember, IRS employees have broad discretion in many areas, including whether to expand the scope of an examination, apply or abate penalties, accept alternative forms of documentation, work with you on payment arrangements, consider settlement offers. Your attitude directly influences every one of these discretionary decisions, often more powerfully than the technical merits of your position. So what's the lesson here? When taxpayers assume an adversarial position from the start, they often create the very opposition they fear. This doesn't mean rolling over and accepting an incorrect determination. As your representative, if you choose to hire me as an attorney, I will vigorously defend your legitimate positions and fight improper assessments, but we'll do it with evidence, professionalism, and strategic cooperation. In tax controversies, honey really does work better than vinegar. And that's just not friendly advice. It's a strategic approach backed by years of my personal experience working for the IRS and now sitting on the other side of the table defending business owners and individuals. So if you're facing an audit or other tax controversy, don't go alone and don't let emotions dictate your approach. My firm, Boss Tax Law, specializes in building cooperative but firm strategies that protect your rights while maximizing your chances of securing a favorable outcome with the IRS. So, if you have an IRS dispute you're currently working through, reach out to me to schedule a consultation and let's develop a cooperative strategy for your tax matter. So thanks so much for watching. If you found this helpful, please subscribe for more strategic tax controversy guidance. Until next time, I'm Andrew Bosserman, helping you navigate the complex world of tax disputes.